What's up, good people, and welcome back to my channel where we bond over our favorite TV shows, trending topics, and everything in between that we care about. So today is another day of justice, hopefully, for us in regards to the journey to justice for George Floyd with the trial of Derek Chauvin. Shown here, Chauvin, shown here. You get it. But anyway, Derek Chauvin showed here on the date of the trial when he was found guilty of all three charges. This was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. But anyway, Derek Chauvin, who is 45, was found guilty. I think it was April 20th of this year. And today, Friday, June the 25th, is the day for his sentencing. Just a brief recap for those who may not be up to date on this or aware of this story. I don't know how you wouldn't be, but anyway, just in case, maybe we were, I don't know, even if you were out of the country, you probably knew about this. But anyway, maybe you were in a coma. That's not funny. Anyway, back to the serious topic at hand. So today is the sentencing, as I stated before, for Derek Chauvin, who was the police officer who held down George Floyd in the prone position with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, therefore causing his passing, his death. And thankfully, during the trial, the jury that was selected, as scary as we were, because it was like a 3-week trial, and I watched every single day. I just hate that I didn't really, I didn't have the system to go live. Anyway, I hate that I regret that I did not go live. I was going to do pre-recorded videos, and it was just a lot. I just didn't get around to all of the putting it together, editing, etc. But had I been using this format, we would have got them out. But anyway, with this, Chauvin was found guilty on all three charges by a jury of his peers. And he then, once he was convicted, elected that his sentencing not be decided by the jury of his peers, because he saw what the jury of his peers thought. And so he decided to go with the judge making the decision of his sentencing. And that's how we basically got here where we are today. So in between time, since April the 20th, when he was found guilty of all three charges, and today there have been memorandums sent by the prosecution and the defendant's attorney, that being Chauvin. And basically, in the memorandums, they've been giving reasons and arguments of what kind of sentence that Derek Chauvin should get. And so they've been sending these documents to the judge, whose name is Pete Cahill. And it's ultimately his decision of how long Chauvin will end up being sentenced to. Now, I have my thoughts about this particular judge because I did watch every day of the trial. And yeah, I'm hoping that we see some justice with this sentencing as well. And also the prosecution team, I should say, these were all of the people involved in helping get justice for George Floyd. This was definitely MVP team. One of the prosecutors, or one of the head prosecutors, seen here, said that he had the Michael Jordan of teams. And so this guy here, and I still forgot to grab their names. I meant to grab their names before. Let me Google it real quick, because they definitely deserve accolades for the amazing job that they did when it came to the case. And why is it taking me so long to find? I'm looking at an article with them in it, and I don't see their names. And the lead prosecutor picture here is Steve Sillinger. I'm destroying his name, but anyway, Steve, because we referred to him when I was on Twitter watching a live stream and chatting with people from across the world. We referred to him as just Steve. And then the other secondary prosecutor was Jerry Blackwell, also pictured here. And together, these two were just superstars. They absolutely were. They did a bang up job. And so they are asking for a 30-year sentence. They're asking Judge Hill to give Chauvin a conviction of 30 years. And his attorney, the defense attorney, Eric Nelson, is asking the judge that Chauvin be instead given time served. So he's asking that he be given time served, basically. So anytime that the time that he's been imprisoned, that just be enough, and he gets to go home and remarry his ex-wife, who I'm sure they divorced for financial reasons so that his assets could be protected. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole new time. So that's that with that, and we'll find out this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, Central Standard Time. It's 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will find out what that actual sentence that Judge Hill will give, and but also that's not it, because we can't quite breathe yet, because in parallel, what has been going on while they're trying to get the judge to lean one way or another when it comes to sentencing, Eric Nelson, who's Chauvin's defense attorney, is trying to set the groundwork for an appeal. So he's been doing a lot of post-conviction motions where he is trying to make an argument to the judge that there were so many oversights and mistakes during the trial that basically Chauvin needs a retrial. Like, this was a mess. The reason he was convicted wasn't because, of the evidence being clear as day. But basically there were a lot of mistakes made, and that's how he got convicted. So he was unfairly convicted is basically what he's trying to prove. And so he is making every argument, and he's throwing the kitchen sink at it. And this is basically the same tactics that he used during the trial, where, he picked up every excuse under the sun. He was trying to say George Floyd died of an overdose. He was trying to say he had pre-existing medical conditions. Maybe he just mysteriously had a heart attack or a stroke, and he had an overdose on the scene because he had took a pill. He everything under the sun. And Chauvin and the rest of the other three officers, so 4 in total, all feared for their lives because George Floyd was, I think he was 6'3", 6'4", and a solid guy. He was built and muscular. So although he was, handcuffed and on his stomach and pressed against the concrete, they were afraid. So that's why, he had to hold him down for 9 minutes and 29 seconds after he stopped breathing. Period. At a certain point, he stopped breathing. So anyway, back to, this appeal process. So basically, Eric Nelson is finding precedents for reasons to do a retrial reasons to do a retrial. And he's using precedents of other cases from Minneapolis to say, hey, well, this happened in this particular trial, back in 1980 or 1976. And that means, we have to follow the same course. And it is true legally that you need to follow the pattern of what was legally accepted at one point. And so that's what he's doing. And we will see how successful he will be with that. I knew for a fact once he was convicted on April 20th, I knew that we were going to end up with a possible appeal. I knew it. So that's where we are with that. And it gets kind of murky, when you're looking at precedents of other cases and pulling them in and, comparing apples to oranges, but trying to say you got a basket full of apples. And we will see. So it's going to get a little murky because what was to me acceptable and cultural, the things that people did and got away with back, hell, even a year ago, and versus now the culture we're in and what's socially acceptable and the movement and all of that, it's different. It's different. So we'll see if that works in Nelson and Chauvin's favor. But if it doesn't work, then that allows a green light for Chauvin to then file for an appeal. And we'll basically see what happens from there. So I definitely wanted to do this video also so we know that no matter what happens today, it is not over. We cannot yet, unfortunately, breathe. As far as the case overview, Chauvin can be convicted for up to 40 years. However, because he doesn't have any prior convictions in the state of Minnesota, the statute says that a person in his situation who is not, a career criminal, basically, would receive for this situation or this conviction 15 years. However, because the judge found that there were aggravating circumstances with the fact that this taking of the life, again, I have to watch my words on YouTube. I want to say the M word. But because of the M word act that was committed in front of a child, it makes it an aggravating circumstance. Therefore, that's why the prosecution team is asking that he be sentenced to 30 years. So it could be up to 40. So they're not asking for the 40, but they're also asking that it be more than the 15. So we're looking at 30 years, possibly, depending on what Judge Hill says today. That's also not it. So as far as this trial, that's where we are. However, Chauvin has a laundry list of things or battles ahead of him, rightfully so, if you ask me, in my opinion. He has 2 federal pending cases. One is a federal case for what has occurred with George Floyd. So the case that we're looking at today in the sentencing is for a state level, from the state level for the state of Minnesota. Then he will be on trial on a federal level with the United States of America. So I actually was not aware of that. That missed me some kind of way. However, he also has a federal trial pending for the incident with a 14-year-old minor, in which he did basically the same thing that he did with George Floyd. However, that minor did live. Thank God, he did live, but he basically did the chokehold. I have to look back into that case because it was months ago when I first heard about it. I actually heard about it during the trial. However, it was, for whatever reason, those sort of things weren't admissible in the trial. And what was it, like his 17 or 18 other complaints that were like similar abuse of power kind of situations. So none of that was admissible in court. Therefore, I don't remember the details. And also I didn't really hear any details of what occurred in that situation, except for, I think it was, I don't even want to speculate because I could have the story wrong. However, we'll find out because there is a federal case pending for that. However, those dates for those pending cases, federal cases, have not yet been set. They haven't started the trial for that. They are currently doing pre-trial motions, but they have not moved yet into the actual trial. So I'll be looking out for that. You guys look out for it as well. Comment below. Hit me up in our where we at? Yeah. Hit me up in our VIP text community if you hear anything else about it, or want to send me anything else you would like me to cover or talk about, etc. It's just a way to get in touch with me, and I get it directly to my cell phone. So you can text from your cell phone and I will get it. And that's my cell phone going off now. So if you send me a message, it'll be like that. But anyway, now as far as, so that's Chauvin. That's where we are with Chauvin as of this moment. You know, things change by the moment, and this afternoon we'll know more. But as far as the other 3 officers, Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King, and Tou Thao, I think. Their trial was supposed to start, I think, August 25th, but definitely this August. And I think the date was the 25th. Their trial was supposed to start. So we were all expecting that. However, it has now been pushed back to March of 2022. That's a long way away. You know, it'll come quick and time flies. However, how do we end up from August to March? And so there are plenty theories of why this is occurring. And one of the things that's being stated is that it is commonly known in the court system that the more time you put between an incident and the actual trial, the more time that heads will start to cool, the more time emotions will start to wane, also memories too. And so it's in some people's benefit for it to be pushed back. So the judge alluded to a little bit of that, but specifically used, for example, the pending federal case and how he did not, want them to collide. Well, the thing is that date hasn't been set, so you could have got this trial out of the way, because now they probably will collide if you're pushing it to next year. But whatever, you know, the system. So what else? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. But basically, in my opinion, part of pushing this back is hoping that people's interest in this would wane a bit, the public opinion, that, you know, people will forget about it. The activism, the BLM movement, maybe it'll wane, you know, we'll move on and go back to business as usual. I think that's a little bit of the hope with that, because you can't lie that all of that, I think, had some influence on what occurred as far as the conviction with the conviction of Chauvin for the taking the life of George Floyd. And then I was thinking, because it was like I was getting conflicting stories and reading different things, but in the trial, they never really addressed whether or not the original reason why the police were called on George Floyd and Chauvin showed up was because George Floyd was accused of giving a counterfeit $20 bill to the Cups food store. And it was a teenager who assumed that it was a counterfeit, you know, $20 bill, but they never clarified if it really was. And I've heard places that it wasn't. I've heard places that it was. I don't even think police, they never even looked at it. I remember that because you saw everything on camera during the trial. But I don't know. I don't remember. So comment, you know, hit me up, comment below. Did we ever find out for a fact if that $20 bill was counterfeit or not? And not that it matters, like it doesn't justify by any means what occurred and what unfortunately happened to George Floyd. But I'm just, for my personal curiosity and interest, want to know, did we ever find out for a fact? Because I just don't remember. So with that, that's the bulk of what I wanted to talk about in this video, just like a quick little update. Again, I watch the trial every day and I never produced any content to let you guys know that I was doing that, and what I initially intended to do with it did not occur. I'm getting better. You see, I'm pumping out these videos, y'all. So we're growing, we're doing things. But just know that his sentencing hearing, Chauvin's sentencing, is today. What is today? Today, just in case you're watching this later, his sentencing is today, Friday, June the 25th at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It will be streaming live. There's various platforms in which you'll be able to stream it on or watch it on. My plan, if all goes well, is that I will live stream it and watch with y'all. But my disclaimer is I'm at my other location, and here the internet is a little rinky-dink, and I'm not able to plug directly into the router at this point. I'm going to have to relocate it to this office so that I can plug in. So the Wi-Fi is a little janky. So I may attempt it, and if it goes awry, then I'll just have to do a pre-recorded video for it. But anyway, with that, thank you for watching. If you are new to this channel, this will be a great time for you to hit that subscribe button below and join one of the most evolved subscriber families in these YouTube streets. Also, also for everyone, whether you're a subscriber or just a viewer, I would greatly appreciate a like on this video as well. It helps this channel to grow. It's also a way of just saying, hey, I was here, or thank you, or, you know, thanks for spending hours putting this together. But anyway, with that, until next time, until I upload the next video. Oh, and, you know, remember the VIP text community, which I have below as well. I'm just leaving it on the screen. But with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, make sure to take care, be blessed, and let's fight for justice. Peace.